All right, the date is July 30th, 2018. The time is 6 o'clock, and I'd like to bring to order the meeting of the Douglas Board of Health. Before we start, I'd just like to welcome Dick Skinner to the board. Welcome, Dick.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank the service that Dave McCallum put up for many years. Dave has stepped down, but he's got a long history with the board and has served the town of Douglas very well.
Since 1994.
Since 94.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very long time.
we'll miss him. The service that he's put forth is well recognized and appreciated. All right, so the first item on the agenda is a health agent update. Corey?
So as the agent, we've got a few ongoings. We got our Arnold Street property. I ran down there last week. Wasn't particularly thrilled with the progress that he made in the past 30 days, so we've been sort of playing phone tag back and forth. So I haven't touched base with him yet about it, but we're going to do a formal inspection at the end of this week, and hopefully see some changes in line with what he's been doing versus what I saw last week. Our Arnold Street friends still have not returned any of my calls. I've been in contact with the DCF worker that's been working with them as well. He's got a meeting in a couple of weeks with them, so somebody is still meeting with them. It's not me, and they haven't returned any of my calls yet. So we're I'm going to see how his meeting goes, and the last meeting he had with them, he did tell them to call me. They haven't yet, so they're still sort of, tell you one thing and do another type of game. They wouldn't allow him access into the basement. I assume that's because they hadn't made any of the repairs in the basement that they were supposed to make. That's because I told him the repairs that they were supposed to make, and I'm guessing those repairs didn't happen, and that's why he was denied access. So I mean, there'll be something coming up in the future, I guess, there. And then a couple other ones, just little things. One homeowner or landlord went on vacation, so he's going to address some issues at a resident's home, at a tenant's. They were minor. He was a really good guy. He's a guy to work with, so he was all set. And then the last one that we're currently working on is Main Street. We're waiting to hear back from the building department and the electrical inspector. The state advised that we get an okay from the electrical inspector saying that that the current wiring was in fact up to code and grandfathered in, and that as long as we get that from an inspector, that it would be sufficient.
Okay.
And that's where we're at.
Has the building department been involved in
The
the
electrical
Arch
one?
Street and?
They have been, yeah.
Arnold?
Yeah.
Arnold?
They have been. The last couple times, well, Arch Street's sort of this on. I mean, we're struggling with that one. The Arnold Street one, he was involved and things were going really well. So I told him as long as things are going really well, I'll handle doing the inspections and the next assignments. And the last one didn't go as well, so I'm going to talk to that individual, and he's usually really good to work with, and he's usually pretty. I mean, he'll be well aware of what he didn't do, and he'll apologize 1,000 times, and then he'll do something. Hopefully, he'll bust his butt Wednesday or Thursday and get some things cleaned up, and when I go down Friday, I'll see something a little different. That's sort of that's the way it's been going sometimes with him, though. I mean, unfortunately, he's just way over his head, but. We're working it.
It's making progress.
A little bit at a time. We're trying. We're pedaling with that one a little bit. That's going to be an ongoing one for. It's going to take. Rome wasn't built in a day.
And the one on Main Street is near the post office? Is that what we're talking?
It's past, just past Dave's package or the village package, just past the package store. On the way to the high school, right? Isn't it?
Oh, right.
It's 4. Yeah, it's
What's the address?
409.
It's what?
409.
409 Main Street?
Street.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, just as you're going down, you get up to the top of the hill, package store, just as you're starting to go down, it's right there on the
Oh,
right.
yeah.
On the right?
Oh, on the right, yeah.
Big brown building.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's an older apartment building. I think there's 5 or 6 units in there.
Mhm.
The problem was that the living room plugs weren't grounded, so there was no grounding. But it was I guess I was told by the management company it was BX wiring, and that was
There's no ground wires, yeah.
No, they use the BX as a ground.
apparently there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, it's the casing of that's the ground.
that's the ground,
Yeah.
and there's and the GFIs are located at the panels, so all the panels are GFI.
Well, if that's done, then that means the whole house is
Yeah, that's what I would
is
assume.
protected.
Right, that's what I would
Because
think.
you couldn't put one of those ground fault interrupters right at the panel, and it protects the entire house.
And that was probably their way around all of those
I mean, that's,
issues, the
that's,
GFIs on the
that's a
sinks.
good way. I
Right,
mean,
that's the best way to do it,
that's
I
a
would
good way
think.
to do it,
And that way they're protected, cause I mean, there was no GFIs around the sinks, but again, that would cover them.
yeah.
And there was no ground wire, which is what the tenant was worried about. He was worried about plugging in his laptop or an AC unit into an outlet that wasn't grounded, was the concern. So I think as long as, we get something from.
Corey, I've got an instrument of my own that I can dig it up, I'll give it to you, and you can test for that, just by plugging it in.
I had one,
See if
I
it's grounded.
plugged it in, it was not grounded.
It was not grounded.
No, the outlets, no, those, the two outlets that I checked were not grounded.
Well, see what happens too, that BX, it corrodes, so you lose your ground. You know, you could be grounded at one point, but you're not at another point.
And if they change
It's
or add
sporadic.
outlets,
Exactly.
then there's no way for it to be grounded.
Right. No, the thing is, we don't know if it's a grandfather thing that the BX was inspected at one point, was okay, so, you know, that's sort of that's where we're looking for the electrical inspector to get back to us.
Where did you check it? At water sources?
No,
And
just-
they weren't done, they weren't grounded?
no, at the, the living room outlet,
Uh,
the living room outlet was,
Yeah. You can check continuity, you know, that's probably.
but just that little plug-in thing, you know,
Yeah.
it lights up, the
Yeah.
3 lights if it's
Yeah,
grounded,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all it,
Yeah.
and it was not, there was you know, electricity there, but no ground.
Well,
So I didn't-
that should be,
And I had a hard time.
electrical, that should be the electrical inspector there.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, I looked through all of our books and I couldn't find any concrete codes that
Yeah.
No,
stated.
we shouldn't have to do that anyway.
That's
No, I
building,
couldn't.
that's electrical.
I looked, so I passed it on to them, or I'm looking to them, I mean, I told them, we passed it on, it came back to us, we passed it back, it came back to
Well,
us.
you know, that's out of our realm. And
Exactly.
If
Correct.
we make a decision and tell the guy that it's okay, and then something goes wrong, it's our, you know, it's our
We
neck.
shouldn't be getting
So
involved.
we
Right.
don't,
Which is why the state told me to get
We
something
don't-
from the electrical
that's right,
inspector.
we don't answer for.
So
Problem
until I
solved.
get that, I'm sort of, I'm waiting to hear from
Yeah.
that guy
Mhm.
A little bit more.
before we move forward.
uh,
And that's sort of, that's where we're at.
Okay, very good. Okay, next item on the agenda, we have food establishment inspection reports. Is there anything in the, okay.
There's a couple of inspections.
What, they look, Joe? See them all?
What are the total food establishments that we have here in town?
About this many.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, about that.
Wouldn't you think?
Right, each one is 2 pages, so.
That's a good call, Joe.
Divide that.
20 maybe?
A lot of inspections, but, I mean.
The
it
20
is.
kitchens,
Right,
Okay.
yeah, not 20, yeah.
not 20 restaurants, but yeah. So include the schools,
Right, the schools,
churches.
campground, or the
Clubs.
theaters,
Yeah,
yeah.
those nice quick, no violations. Good. He's very on top of things.
Yes, he is.
I mean, even in the notes, whenever there is a violation, he writes, discussed violations, reviewed, reinspection.
Very
Who does
good.
that work? Who does that work?
Steve Garabedian.
Very thorough.
And what's his title?
Sanitarian,
Yeah. The sanitarian works with, he works with many towns, actually, as an
I
inspector.
think he does
or something.
Milford, he does he's in Milford,
He-
Northbridge.
Northbridge,
So what's his title?
no,
Sanitarian.
he's a sanitarian,
Food inspector.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it was a sanatorium.
Well, he has
Oh, he does more than that.
He's
Well,
I think he does
Every
a
little
he
thing.
works- He works full-time for Milford.
Milford, yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
He works at the
Inspection
Board of Health.
services.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
So inspecting, just doing,
Milford
handling
would be a
Milford alone
full-time.
is a,
Hmm.
I can imagine.
That's a big,
yeah,
I would
Yeah.
think that would be a full-time job.
Yeah.
yes.
he's so on top of things.
Okay. We'll move on to the next item, the bills and warrants. In our pamphlet here, we have a lot of bills.
I saw them going around last week putting these brickets in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it makes a difference. How long have we been doing that for?
Wait, 11,
Oh, yeah. Probably 10 years, 12 years. The highway department goes around and puts them in the drains.
What is a micro bank?
That's water testing
Yes.
for the beaches.
That's the lab.
Which is different than environmental track.
Yes, they do the monitor well testing.
Had a chance to glance over the bills and warrants. All set. Move on to the next item, June landfill monitoring report. Okay. It's Envirotrack.
Did you, everybody got a copy of that?
Yes. I looked at that.
75 pages of it,
Yes.
Yeah? Did you read them all?
in minute detail just
Yeah.
before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. So it looked very, nothing really different than the last report. It's all very,
Oh, it's not.
yeah, that's still there.
Yeah.
But the levels are still
Same.
about the same as they were before. So nothing's really has changed since the last testing date. You know what I saw anyways,
They put a sentence in there that I liked,
which is,
and that's that they compared it with the previous report.
yes, which is, that's good. Good to do that. Just a quick heads up comparison. All right,
I have one other question.
yes.
Has anyone gone through here to verify that the standards they're reporting against, the maximums they're reporting against are correct? Or are we relying on them?
I know at one point, Phil Smith, who worked on the board here for a while, he was going through those. He worked for DEP, and he was knowledgeable, and he reviewed those for us. And, he said they looked good, so we kind of compare it to that. A lot of that we're looking at, and you know,
It would almost be that you'd have to hire another company to come in and
Right.
check.
You would,
for it.
somebody, yes.
Well, except it was done by someone on the department, the State Department.
Well, he worked, yes, he also was a member of the board at the time.
Right.
He reviewed them for us, so he was knowledgeable and kind of set a baseline for us, so.
Even if he did a sampling down through, I would say that's fine.
Yes. So everything, if anything, changed drastically from the way things have been being monitored,
Right.
then we might have to do something, but right now we're just comparing it to
I mean, if
previous
they- If they
testings.
tried to fudge the results, then, something drastic could possibly happen. It would be a major lawsuit, I mean.
Yes,
It
if
would
they
be
would,
open to.
if they would, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be open
Yeah,
to
I
a
wasn't
major
suggesting
lawsuit.
fudging, I was suggesting that some technician somewhere moved the decimal pointer.
Right,
I mean, there are a lot of numbers on there.
there are, there's a lot of data to review and, yeah.
So that's gonna be your assignment. You
Yes.
have to stay up every single night between now and the next
That's right,
meeting.
Dick, I think as a new member. That's item number one.
Do you
We each have
wish-
about 20 items to go over each month, so that should be you first.
Do you issue toothpicks also?
All right, we're all set with that.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll move on to the next, which is the approval of the minutes of April 30th, 2018. I have a copy in here, has everybody had a chance to review those?
Okay.
And here, I'll give those over.
So Steve, did you happen to meet with the town administrator?
I have not, and until I just read that, I forgot all about it. I will be.
Okay.
Comment in here about soliciting? Has anything been done about that?
No, and I will handle that. I was going to talk to the town administrator regarding that, and until I just read the minutes, it slipped my mind.
I mean, you're not doing anything wrong.
I know, I just sit at home and twiddle my
This
thumbs
was
and
April
think about what to
30th.
do.
It's like, woo, God.
Alright, I'll be back to work now.
Don't talk about it.
What is the comment about tonnage?
Nasty.
The tonnages are the transfer station.
Yes.
And I have no
I
idea.
forgot about the
I haven't sat down yet today, minus driving.
And
It's awful. It's
there was a
awful.
comment made when we were reviewing the
I know,
tonnages.
I mean, I don't know
we
whether
get
it goes
one.
up or down,
Snap,
it just says tonnage.
Yeah, we get,
Boom.
usually we get well, don't forget this one,
I
did we?
totally
I've been-
forgot.
Got that, okay.
No, I'll send it up.
Normally Kristen does give us a list of the, when the
Every meal.
transfer station ships out and has
Clean the house.
the hulls removed, they get weighted
Your
down
mini
for
hats.
each compactor. And
We got it
get weights on those, we try to compare them,
I
how
know.
they compare and
Watching trends kind of.
trends for the most part, yes, that they stay kinda high. And that they are not, we're not shipping them out, because we pay a flat base of, tipping fee to have them removed, so an empty bin, we're not making, we're losing money.
I do it.
So we try to send them out as full as possible,
I've noticed that.
Say good luck.
yes. So it's most efficient, so we try to do that as much as possible. And, we try to compare to make sure that those weights are not falling down to lower levels. So we just, the last meeting, we reviewed those and they were a little lower than the previous couple months. Okay.
I'll make a motion, we accept these minutes as written.
Okay.
That was gonna be my job, Joe.
We were taking too long.
How long do you wanna look?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
And there was one abstention because I wasn't.
Wasn't here, that's right, okay.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Next item, we have landfill transfer station inspections. Okay.
There's nothing on it.
So,
There's nothing in there on that?
No.
Okay,
you know, what's the status on that?
yeah, we,
We need to do it.
I know,
We need to
but
do it, and we haven't hired
we haven't
anybody.
done, we haven't
Yeah.
hired anybody yet, so,
What are the
Why,
options?
why did we not go to this guy that used to do it?
we haven't had a meeting, I think, is a problem. I think last time Dave had somebody he wanted to submit a bid. I don't think have we received anything on that? or-
Dave mentioned something about there was a problem.
Yeah, he did, but I don't remember, there was a
Yeah, the
problem with that bid,
problem-
they didn't,
Yeah, the problem was he
Wasn't
suggested a
certified.
company, but it has to, it's a third-party inspection, and the inspectors have to be certified through the state.
Yeah.
The person wasn't. So I called them, they were gonna take the course, they hadn't taken the course yet, and then get back to me when they got licensed, which I've never.
Well, I think we ought to hire somebody
I agree.
for this inspection, and
Yeah.
if
I
that
agree.
guy gets his license and everything, the
Absolutely.
next one, then
All right, we'll move.
he can be considered.
Yep.
Yes, I agree with that, we can do it now.
Yeah.
So,
How often do you do the inspection?
is that
Yearly
once a year?
for the transfer, I think, and.
Landfill
one
is
every 2 years for the landfill.
2 years for landfill?
Sure.
Do we have to make a motion to hire?
We do both, landfill and,
Yeah, I have to have them both inspected. Landfill and the transfer station have to be inspected. So in the past, we've had
Bruce Haskell.
Bruce Haskell
Yeah.
inspections. So Bruce is willing, and yeah, price was very good compared to others that we've had. I don't know if he's mentioned what his fees are now. but
Same.
Same fees?
Yeah.
They're very good comparison, so.
And Jim, that was Jim's recommendation?
Yes.
Was Bruce?
Jim recommended Bruce, yes.
He has all the certifications and,
Oh, yeah.
He's done it in the past for us.
he has, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's done it since I've been here,
Yeah, he's,
and before me.
All right.
I know we had, I think we would look at having Jim do it, but Jim's not able to do it right now, so.
No, no.
So we're looking elsewhere, so. Do we have a motion? I need a motion and to make that hiring.
I'll make a motion that we hire Bruce to do the inspection on the landfill and the transfer station.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Good. So send a letter as needed to Bruce.
I'll call him tomorrow.
Call him tomorrow.
Yep,
Excellent.
I'll have it done tomorrow.
All right, Chris, I want you to make a note, special note, historic first vote.
Oh.
Good, okay. That's good. All right, next item, we have Karen from GBI to discuss well regulations. Board?
Hi,
Hi,
how you doing?
good.
Good.
Grab my seat if you want.
Sure.
Okay, Woody.
So this is the formal discussion. I
Yes.
have a homeowner up on 94 Cedar Street. I would like to put up a slab garage, single story, 24 by 24. And they'd like to put it along the left sideline of their property. I do have plans. Okay, I'm gonna pass them around.
I'd like to keep this as generic as possible today because it wasn't posted.
But I know that.
So it's just kind of reviewing the regulations.
Right.
Not site specific,
Right.
but,
So basically, we have an
Can I share?
existing, what? Sorry.
He's
So-
not sharing.
So basically, we have an existing well, and an existing house with a septic system out in the front. And they're proposing to put a slab garage in, and they wanna put it 5.7 feet away. The regulations that you have are for the installation of wells. So it's kind of vague right there where you wanna, DEP really doesn't have regulations off buildings.
yes.
And so,
We
I guess
do-
I'm kind of here looking to see what I can do.
Mhm.
Would I have to file for a waiver? Would I,
I would think so. I mean, the way I read it, I know everybody has this in their folder.
Yep.
Regulations. States all private wells shall be located at least 25 feet from existing buildings. Now, it does say existing buildings. I think this is written mainly for anybody who wants to drill a well, put a well in. But I think the intent of the regulation was to have a separation from wells to structures and buildings. Without this in place, and the way, I mean, you're looking at now putting up a building, anybody could subvert that regulation just by drilling a well, then coming back shortly thereafter and then proposing a building to be put in on any piece of property. And I don't think that's the intent of this.
I don't think that's the intent either. So I'm wondering if you entertain the thought of waivers? I know that that's probably new too.
It would be, and that would be, and I don't know, the board is open to that. I think it would be site-specific. I don't know the specific site. I don't know if there's an issue with placing the structure 25 feet away from the well. If it can't be done, or I think in my opinion, if it can be done reasonably, if it's just they'd like to have it right here.
That's what they'd like to have.
They'd like to have it right there, but there's no reason why it can't be pushed back another 20 feet.
It's a financial burden if it would be.
Just to have another 20 feet of pavement for the driveway
Yeah, pretty
placed
much,
in.
yeah.
Well, as of right now, it says here that a minimum of 15 feet from a roadway or
Or-
driveway is required. And it also looks like
In
that
addition to-
well is
Right.
only about 6 feet away
Yep.
from the
Right.
proposed driveway.
It is.
Right.
So as of right now, it looks like there's two regulations that it would be in violation of.
But the homeowner could not pave that and make it gravel if they, wanted to do that also. But we would come in for both waivers.
Is there a possibility of contamination of the well in runoff? Is this the issue? Runoff from the driveway or runoff from the slab contaminating the well?
I'm sure that is the, yes, that's the reason why there's a regulation in place.
So if you did a waiver, then you'd want something to keep the runoff from contaminating the well. Is that it?
Something, probably,
Close to do a lot of
if
heavy
we would entertain
machinery
that.
too.
Right.
You don't wanna crack anything on that. Well, that's
I mean, that's a board decision, in my personal opinion. I mean, I don't think 20 feet of just driveway, building an additional 20 feet of driveway is worth waiving that regulation. That's the only issue. If there's blasting additional, if there's a huge hunk of ledge or something where it's gonna be a greater expense in blasting or something else other than just that, I mean, it's,
20 feet of driveway, yeah.
yeah, if it's just that. If the building's not gonna cost any more to build, it's just an additional 20 feet of driveway. I mean, we have a regulation in place, and that's just,
Would you entertain the driveway that close to the well? For the waiver?
I think the reason for the distances there is nothing could stop heavy equipment from going there. And where the danger comes in with the private well is the casing cracking.
what I was thinking.
And that's where contamination comes in. Other than that,
Well,
the well could go down through a septic system and be fine as long as the casing
Yes,
is
the
intact,
casing.
you know?
I
yes.
That's what I was
recent-
thinking, the heavy equipment digging.
We recently placed a house over in Mendon, and I know this is not, but that was literally 7 feet off the foundation, 7 feet off the well.
Mhm.
And, I mean, they had to dig around the foundation to put in the forms, and there was no issue with it there, so. I mean, I understand what you're trying to say.
Yes, I mean, each town has their, has different regulations in place for how they feel best serves the
I
town
assume at some point
as a
something
whole,
must happen.
and,
'Cause the,
Do casings deteriorate over time?
Well, it's steel in the ground, steel in the ground.
Over
well,
time.
Over time, over a great deal of time. 'Cause the
Eventually,
thickness
but
of the
yeah.
Steel is, it's pretty thick. So
Yes.
it'll take a long time.
yeah, it's not gonna be a
to
few
corrode,
years,
but-
it's gonna take a few decades.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I would have is how old is the casing that's there?
It's brand new. It's a brand new house out there. So the casing is brand new.
So we're generic talking, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, but,
Would you entertain a waiver on the driveway?
well, if the garage moved back further, there wouldn't be a need for a
Well,
40-foot wide driveway either.
No.
They could
narrow it
shrink
right
the
through
driveway,
there,
narrow it to
widen it
access the
further
back.
past.
And you could probably, it's only 15 feet to a driveway, you could probably gain that 15 feet. I think theoretically, a garage, if any random garage was to be built 25 feet away from a well, that you could probably get away with making a driveway that was 15 feet away from the well as well.
Karen, this is just a.
Just a turnaround.
Just a turnaround?
Yeah.
So if this were pushed back, that turnaround could be on this side, couldn't it?
That could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look like, back there, it doesn't look like a great grade change. It's relatively
No, it's relatively
level
flat.
back there.
Back
yeah.
there, yes.
Even changes to exist to-
Mhm.
So. I don't know about the rest of the board, but in my opinion, I think if you can get the driveway 15 feet away, you should. Reasonably. Should, I mean. You don't wanna create something ridiculous, but yeah, I think you probably, if you gotta slide that another 20 feet back,
20 feet's a lot though.
what's the cost of 20 feet, 20-foot driveway to construct 20 feet of driveway? I mean,
Well, I don't think that should be part of our decision anyway.
Well,
You know, that the cost.
That's
should
true.
not be
just the
part of our
driveway, but
decision.
what's the hardship? I mean, that's really what you're looking for here.
That's
To-
the
to-
hardship.
To grant, that would be the hardship, would be financial.
Yes.
Would you need to contact or have the Conservation Commission involved in any waiver like that?
I don't believe, I mean,
I don't have
There
any
are no wetlands on
no
site.
wetlands out there, no.
We're talking generic.
Oh,
well, if there were wetlands, within 100 feet or nearabouts to the project, then yes.
If there was
you would.
wetlands, yeah, you would need a conservation.
Yeah, the Concom's site-specific.
As long as
If
there's no
they-
wetlands.
If there are wetlands, water courses, or anything that falls within their jurisdiction on site, that we would, then yes, they would have to file. So I don't know the rest of the board, but I don't,
And 1 inch is.
You know,
so that's
I don't think there's any reason, right?
You know,
You can-
it's 5 feet away from the driveway, right?
If this were pushed back,
just the back side of
then this wouldn't have to be as wide either.
it. Right.
You know, that wouldn't have to be as wide, it could flare out back here, you could still have a turnaround there, or on the other side,
Yeah, I don't think it's,
and then it'd be completely away
right,
from the
it's
well.
not that much more material. I think that would probably be an easier.
If they slid it 20 feet, they could always, if you needed to rotate that garage 10 degrees or something just to bring the driveway in an angle that would be 15 feet away.
Mm.
It's already not, it's not, I don't think the angle it's set at is at any, there for any particular reason. It's already turned maybe 20 degrees from the existing house. So I figured they're,
That's true, yeah.
should have turned it,
Just turn it
turn it to maybe 10 degrees or something instead of,
and add maybe less of a driveway.
I'd look at that, Karen. Personally, I'd look at that, seeing how that would
Yeah, this-
lay
this
out.
thing could go over here.
You do have a setback line there.
So
That's
you're
for the
gonna hold,
structure.
so you're gonna hold me to the 25 feet, that's.
For the
my
structure, I
feeling.
would, I'd,
Then you're 30 feet back. Only got
yeah, I don't see any
45.
reason to grant that. I mean, if we granted that,
Alright, so it's only gonna be.
the regulation's in place, unless we get rid of the regulation.
25 feet, it's
Why would we
30
grant it,
feet back there.
grant it to everybody? I don't think
Yeah.
it, there's nothing there that I see.
And the driveway looking at it.
Huge hardship.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna build a garage and a driveway, the well exists
Yeah,
there,
it's only
it's there.
15 feet, most of the way down.
Unless we were gonna re-examine the regulation itself. Do you remember that regulation when it came about, Joe?
Yeah.
It's been there for as long as I know. I can remember.
Because I know this is just in your regulations, the state doesn't have a regulation on it
Correct.
at all,
So
so.
it's
Something
town-
must have happened
town
at some
reg.
point.
Off the record, everybody that does wrought iron railings.
I don't know. I'll have to give a, oh, I don't have that.
So there was no date on the regulation?
It's a,
Is
But
it?
anyway,
a black
it's,
book underneath.
Oh, Michael's.
Yeah. It's number 6.
You said the state has no regulations?
Not on the regulations
Six.
away from where, how far you put a well from a structure, no,
No?
the state does not.
So sewage. that's
DEP
it.
does not,
Open the front.
DEP does not.
For
I
that,
thought it was 6.
But there should be one somewhere else hiding something?
That I don't know,
trailers,
yeah.
swimming
That's
pools,
interesting that this
food
would exist
establishments.
On the very front.
without
Sorry.
anything from the state driving.
Keep going, we'll tell you the number.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of verbiage in that that's
No,
actually in the state's,
Eight.
8.
DEP's verbiage too. Almost a couple of them are word for word,
Then I'm confused.
but the state does not require a structure to be any distance from a well.
11.
Yeah, we did,
2011.
it's been there since 2011.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, being young and stupid, if the state isn't driving this, how did the verbiage come about?
It was something probably that was brought up by the board themselves.
Yes, we probably had issues with wells, certain wells in town being contaminated from,
That would do it.
yeah, that would usually is how these regulations come about.
Now, when you say existing buildings, does that include all buildings on a lot? I mean, all structures, meaning sheds and such? Or is it just the building, the main building, the
I
main
would think
structure?
maybe-
So that would be my next debate, would be, would
Hmm.
this be just from the main structure? Could it, I mean, this is a slab foundation.
Yes.
Yes, it is a structure, but it's a slab foundation rather than a full foundation.
It's also the excavation.
Yeah, I would think a shed on, that's on.
Cinder blocks or
Could
something.
Cinder
we,
blocks or something,
could we
yes.
move it back a
Wouldn't
few
count.
more feet and keep it further away? I mean, but not go the full 25?
I would think
In my
anything
opinion,
that
if you
requires
get-
an excavator would be an existing building, right? If it was anything that requires a foundation of some sort, a slab or a dug, I mean, whatever it is, it's,
When you have existing well,
I would think a shed on cinder blocks would be a totally different scenario.
I would too, I
There'd be
don't see any
no,
reason
right, there's no upset to
for the
the ground at
25
that
foot
point.
setback,
Right, but
in that regard. Slab foundation, full foundation, partial,
requires excavation.
So,
for the structure, then. But if you're putting a new well in, I mean, that's how it was written, but I don't know, I don't believe that was the intent, the way it was, the wording. I think it's meant that any well in any structure should not be 25 feet,
Mhm.
less than 25 feet apart from one another. I don't know how the board as a whole feels, but I don't see any reason here to,
I was not here
There's
when
no
the
hardship, I
regulation
think.
was written,
there's nothing,
but,
yes.
but I would say
Right,
that
this is just
it was written for a reason.
7 years ago, and it's there, we have that regulation. Unless at some point in time the board wants to, readdress that particular regulation, I don't see any reason to waive this. It's this, it can be done, and I don't see any, it's 20 feet of driveway is the issue at hand.
And is there a mention of the roadway? Yeah, 30
Yes.
feet from normal driving surface of any public roadway.
Yes, public,
That's a public roadway, so
and
that's.
15 from any right of way or driveway.
right.
those are the setback requirements I think that pertain here, and a few others that do, but. Anybody else have any comments or any feelings on the matter? With the regulation? Yeah, I wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't be in favor of it. In most instances, this is a real hardship with, all ledge on property,
Cliff in the back.
cliff in the back or something, there's nowhere else to put something like that except for one location. And, what? I've been to the site, but the way you described it's pretty flat and other than just 20 feet more driveway. I think that's, it is what it is there.
It is what it is. Okay, just thought I'd come in, have an informal discussion and see how we all felt about it.
Appreciate you coming in.
See if I, always can try, right?
Of course.
Can't hurt trying.
Thank you guys,
Thanks, Karen.
appreciate it. You guys.
Thank you.
Thank
You're welcome.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, no, I always like to discuss and try to figure out why something is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I don't particularly remember exactly how that came about, but I'm sure it had to do with, they were contaminated wells somewhere in town that.
Something must have happened where
Something
the casing
happened and
got
there's-
cracked or something.
yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if it's
Yeah,
on
there
a
were-
slab, but they're still digging a footing and they're still putting in a foundation.
Yeah, maybe a guy backed up the excavator and.
But even the
cracked it,
vibration and
who knows?
the movement of the earth, a lot of things can happen, so, yeah,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
makes sense.
and the drilling of the well, if they're gonna drill a well so
Yeah.
close to a structure, foundation, doing damage,
There you go.
so. All right. We all set with that? Anybody have any old and new business?
We all have to live within boundaries.
That we do, absolutely. Every one of us.
That's right. Ray has a question.
Yes, Ray.
And it's a few months ago, we had a gentleman that was dumping in from Woonsocket. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Well, he was back Saturday, and he spoke to my partner, which doesn't know who he is, said he had 3 deaths in the family, and wanted to dispose of a lot of trash. And he apparently told him that he could do it without knowing where he lived. So, is there a way we could stop him?
Well, I mean, that particular day,
He didn't have it that day, but he usually goes to Woonsocket Saturday morning, pick it up and bring it up there before we close.
they can't do that.
Yeah, tell him,
Yeah.
turn him away.
No,
Okay.
I mean,
Tell him the other guy
he
was
he
mistaken.
misspoke. He wasn't,
So
he wasn't,
I'll have to pass that on to
you can tell them the board as.
the
said
two,
no.
the 2 that are on there this week.
Yes. You can move that on, yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah, tell him.
Yeah, this is
misunderstood.
Douglas only trash,
Right.
Yeah.
I had-
residential trash.
I had left one of the white sheets there and I circled it because it's right on the top of the front sheet.
Mm-hmm,
Perfect.
yes.
All right.
It's because you live in town, you can't go off
Yeah.
wherever and collect trash around
Yeah.
the state.
I would just say the guy's new,
countryside.
and he was mistaken.
Mhm.
These are the rules.
Should he be
Yeah,
doing
just
the
tell him
whole
he was
guy?
mistaken.
I mean,
These are the
I
rules.
didn't speak to him, but he spoke
We
to me.
should.
No,
Right,
you know
right.
what?
That's
You
an
should
honest
make a
mistake.
point,
Just
We
tell him the
should.
guy made an honest mistake. Sorry,
Yes.
but you can't do it.
Because that's what creates friction.
That's
You're right,
absolutely correct.
you're right, we should. We'll speak with him, I'll speak with him.
Hmm?
Or one of us will speak, it's Ray,
Right.
Ray, yeah.
There's
No,
Ray,
not
there's
to Ray.
Dick, and then there's.
Yeah, Dick and,
Oh, the other two? Yeah,
George, it's a George.
Dick and George.
Dick
Yeah,
and George,
George.
Dick
They're
and
working
George.
tomorrow.
Right.
They're working tomorrow?
Mhm.
Right.
Is anybody going to be able to get up there and speak with them at
I
any
can.
point? Can you?
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob, do that, that'd be much better. Yeah, Bob will speak
Looking
with
for
them.
reasons to
Yeah,
get
Nat,
out of the house.
Trent, do that.
Moments at a time.
Yeah, it is a quick moment,
I'll be back in 15, 20 minutes.
no more.
Do you have a license plate number for that individual, so they'll know?
Uh,
So you know, Bob, who to,
It's on 48 Perry Street.
48 Perry.
Perry?
You must mark that, Kristen, to find out the license plate number then.
Okay, yeah.
The first name is Jeff, but I'm not sure the
Okay.
last name.
Okay, he can't dump
Just to
without
confirm
a
that.
sticker, right?
He has a sticker, but he's collecting trash from outside the town and bringing it in
He's a
and
resident, he's collecting,
bringing it from outside, so that, you cannot do that.
Got a nice little business going.
That's
on,
right.
so.
add, past tense.
Right.
Correct.
Just for the record, I am impressed with the transfer station personnel.
They are very
And
good.
I'm not
Yep.
easily
That's good to hear, I
impressed.
appreciate hearing that too.
You hear
That's-
that, Ray?
Extremely,
Did you hear that?
No.
oh jeez, wasted. I said I was impressed with the transfer station personnel. I
Oh.
like the helpfulness, the knowledge. It was a pleasure going there as a newbie saying, what do I do?
And they were very.
Very helpful, that's good to hear. That's what we wanted to hear too,
That's right.
and that's,
And we wanna keep it that way.
we wanna keep it that way, absolutely wanna keep it that way, and, it's always nice to hear that. I'm sure the guys appreciate hearing that, and we definitely appreciate hearing anything in good, good reports. On our workers, so. Excellent. Anybody else have any other old or new business?
I have one thing, Dynamic
Yes.
Douglas Day. Have you heard about that?
No, I have not.
No?
Who is it?
Signed
Dynamic.
temporary food service.
Sign
Yeah,
up the
crazy.
fire
Dynamic
station
Douglas
also.
Day is gonna be August 18th at Soldiers Field.
Yeah.
Which is?
It's like a big fair,
Bring the town together
bring the
type
town
thing.
together, yes.
Meet and greet.
Right,
Everybody.
Joe's-
All
yeah,
come
right.
together.
Like an
and-
Oktoberfest.
Right in Joe's
but-
front yard.
It's like
A
a-
mini Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
What is
The
it?
the Oktoberfest.
So there.
As long as
Place
people are having
people
fun,
come
I don't
together.
mind.
Yeah,
Not a
fun.
bad.
I feel bad for all the volunteers
Common?
that
No, Soldiers
sweat
Field.
Soldiers
tears
Field.
making
Okay.
Soldiers Field a beautiful baseball. field.
Actually, it is a very nice looking field now. No.
Hopefully it's
No,
well
yeah.
maintained during.
Normal Joe's front yard.
Where are they gonna set up?
Right, that's the only place, that's the only big field that we have in town.
You drive
Besides
vehicles
Martin
on
Road, I mean, there's
Yeah,
not
but-
many. But it has a nice
Oh,
park.
where are they gonna, on the field, right?
I would assume right on the field. I
Drive the
assume they're
vehicles on the field?
They could use one of those soccer fields.
Right on the Babe Ruth's field, I assume they're doing it right on the
Well,
field.
there wouldn't be any parking.
I don't know, I know
That would be a
I
problem.
don't know. s-
some of the members of the baseball board had no idea this was gonna happen. But,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean,
it's not the baseball board's
Who
field.
are we,
It's
but
just
I mean, I
It's the town's field, so.
I don't know how I'd feel about that, driving vehicles and trucks over the field, ball
You
fields.
know?
That's a beautiful field, and there are people that work their butts off.
Is that what's gonna be happening?
I don't know what view, like.
I don't know.
I would think of all these
I don't know.
vendors. Is there gonna be a bunch of number of vendors?
Well, the fire department will be selling hamburgers and hot dogs.
Usually you see these
Yeah, who started?
fairs or whatever with,
Douglas
with
Stadium?
vendors, they usually have a vehicle, they
There is
pull up the
one
vehicle
vehicle
and
that
park
will-
and put a tent up or something right next to it,
Yeah.
a canopy or something right next to the vehicle, and they,
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's what I assume. I assume they're driving, I mean, there's an access, so I
that's
assume
how
that
it's
they're
usually set
driving.
up.
So they must have got a permit from somebody to do this.
I would
The
hope.
people running it, yes, have been in
But-
town hall getting,
They've been, and
Do they have
One
porta
is
potties?
good.
Who's in charge of the ball fields? Is that
Should
the,
be well, the town.
the town itself, is it?
That's a town field.
Yeah.
The town
Parks and
field?
Rec.
Parks and Rec are in charge of that
I'd
then,
imagine.
okay. So I think they have to get a permit from them.
Well, if the Parks and Rec, I mean, all you see is town trucks down there.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
They spend a lot of time down the ball field, the highway department.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be porta potties?
I would assume so, because I think the baseball board oversees the concessions and the bathrooms there, and
It's
they
down
pay
there
for
now.
all that stuff.
Yeah, are there porta potties on there now?
So, no, because the
No.
baseball field utilizes the
Just the
field
bathrooms.
house bathrooms. I'd assume that those are not gonna be open for Dynamic Douglas Day, if the baseball board isn't even aware that it's
Oh.
happening, then I'm guessing they didn't
Whatever committee's
ask
running
for-
Dynamic Douglas, I think they would,
So I'm guessing they're gonna just get porta potties.
well, they would find out, they would have to go to, well,
Does it take
that's a
a
good,
board
that's a
of
good point. But I mean,
health, a board of health permit for a porta potty?
No. No, they don't have to.
permit, no, but they, I mean, that's something they would, they have to have bathroom facilities if they can't access.
Hmm. I've been
They asked
signing
about a
fields.
circus too.
temporary food permits.
Yes, but
Not
so-
circus, a petting zoo.
Petting zoo?
Petting zoo.
They asked about that.
On the field? Man,
I do feel slightly
I don't know.
bad for all the people
Wow.
that have been working
That's gonna
really
be-
hard to get that Babe Ruth
They
field.
do a job in that
And that
field.
F1, that
I can't-
Little League field.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that.
Well, they certainly should not be on the playing.
I can't
Playing
imagine
field.
driving, but I mean, that's the whole field is the playing.
Pretty much.
Pretty
Well,
much.
yeah, but
For the
down-
most part.
You know, straight out center field,
Yeah, you can go down,
there's a ton of room there that
Yeah.
the kids don't.
I assume they'd stay
access.
away from the diamonds themselves.
Yeah,
Is there a cleanup requirement for the petting zoo?
I hope
They haven't gotten a permit yet, so they just asked
They haven't come
about it.
forward, it's just- yeah, nothing's come
but
forward
what
to
they
us.
have to have, they have to be fenced in. There's, and at the entry exit point, there's gotta be hand sanitizers.
Yes.
That's required for putting to.
Do we know that?
Yes. You know that.
There's a committee who's in charge of putting this function on?
There's.
The specific committee, Dynamic Douglas
Yes, yeah.
Day
yeah,
Committee?
There is a point person.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, Donna Harding.
Donna Harding, yeah.
Donna Harding's in charge of it,
Yeah, there is a point person.
okay.
Now, I don't know what that means. If there was insurances taken out, if there's like a whole, but there is a point person. I guess she's the one that's heading this whole thing.
Well,
What is this cleanup crew that they were talking about too? Rubicon or something?
Oh, for the
What's
disaster.
that
Did
all
you see the
about?
disaster?
Oh, I took it right out there yesterday.
Oh, and it doesn't look like
I
much,
haven't-
right?
No, it doesn't.
But I'm watching my friend's house,
Yeah.
and her house was in between, it hit this house and across the street, and really didn't touch her yard, but when I was there today at her house, I went out back, and you know that red house that was on the news? The trees had fallen like on the house, on the cars.
it's the aerial view?
No, this,
I saw it on the news
There's a
the day
red
after, there's
house.
an aerial view, and they show the back of a house, like somebody's backyard, and then into the woods.
that's what from Lisa's house.
And it was just a
It
swath.
was, the trees are gone, and you can see
So
down.
you can't see that from the road?
No,
Yeah.
you can see from the road, some people had a lot, if you really slow down and look,
Yeah.
houses, like one house, trees just went right beside the house, both of them.
That's
Like,
an eerie feeling to see
Mm.
something
the guy,
like that.
there's one guy that the whole front yard is gone, the person with the red house, the whole backyard's gone,
Where in
there's
Maple
no
Street?
trees left.
Where in Maple Street's that?
Like 129-ish.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
that area?
I heard
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Yeah, those were behind.
So when I looked, the backyard of that person was all woods, there's no woods left, and you can see
Yeah.
behind the houses, the path right through.
I think it was Channel 7 News in Boston, or something.
Yeah.
An aerial view, a chopper or something went over and took pictures.
So it was a
Wow.
tornado, it was 4.5
Well, I could
minutes
tell it was a
over.
tornado, yeah, the
As
swath
soon as
of
you
it
start seeing the
laid,
trees all
Yes.
different ways. you
just
know
a
it's
huge
Things are just
swath,
snapped
just.
off, the poles and everything just snapped off. And Nick Daly, came in today and he said, I said, what, are the pole, like some of them were snapped off and then thrown, like 30 feet. Wires and everything was,
Yeah, look at,
And I told Kristen, going up this road, you're
Yep, take
taking
a
a left
left.
on it.
yep, and then you go around
So-
that big
so where
bend,
is-
and then you go past Stonewall Court on your right. There's like a little cul-de-sac, keep going. It's before Monroe Street, it's in between
It's
like,
before
yeah,
Monroe,
before
okay.
Monroe. Yep, you'll see it.
I heard
But it's,
it
they're
said
being
it
cleaned
touched
up
down
now.
in Douglas, and it was 6.6 miles down through to Northbridge. The swath that it landed in,
Oh, I didn't know that
And
anything.
Uxbridge, too.
through Uxbridge, it ended in Northbridge,
Yeah.
and so it was like a over
Because
6
Upton-
mile.
Upton did a lot.
A separate one.
Yeah.
There were 2 touchdowns.
Two touchdowns,
The
yeah.
second tornado touchdown, and
It was a
Upton,
bad one, yeah.
yeah,
It was
right
bad.
on 140, I guess.
Yeah, that house just before Monroe Street, that's where Tommy Terrian lives.
Oh, the one on the left, way up?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the one set way back.
Oh, right, that one,
That's-
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Tommy's house.
Oh.
Oh, we're still,
Well, I
Yeah, oh,
would,
yeah.
I would like to say a few words about our former board member, Dave McCallum. David, to me, besides being a personal friend of mine, as Joe and, you guys are, I think he's gonna be missed, because we're gonna miss his knowledge. We're going to miss his expertise on many, many issues. He was, he was a big asset to this board. And I just, you know, happy that Dick has come on the board here, and I'm sure that, you know, you'll blend in well, but I can't help but say that Dave did more than an honorable job here. Since 1994.
94. yeah.
94, served on the board, put his heart and soul into the board, certainly took control of the transfer station, did a wonderful job up there. I can't say enough about the work that he did, and he will be missed, for sure.
I think that the board should compose a letter to him.
I
Because
agree.
just to
I agree.
verbally say
With,
thanks isn't much,
Yeah,
you know.
he's just been a great asset to this board. I'm gonna miss him, sure.
Touche. Agreed. Yeah. He's very active and did a lot for this town, this board. A lot over the
A
years.
lot of
He's
research he did.
Yes,
he's put a lot of time and effort.
Contacts.
yeah. In fact, I wouldn't be on this board if it weren't for him. He dragged me tooth and nail.
Well, if you and him put me on the board in 2000.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, boy. Kicking and
Things come about. Flopped you down, you know.
Yeah. So, anyway,
But,
Maybe we should definitely get some sort of a card or something together.
yeah, we'll definitely do something there.
Probably talk more off air about that
Mhm. Any other old and new business?
next week.
I just have one question.
Yes,
Side of the desk, it says the public health nurse is here on certain days.
yes, Thursdays,
Does he or she, she
Tuesdays, yes,
ever go to the senior center?
yes. She does, right, correct?
She has, yeah, they
She
have
does.
someone that does. She was going to Riddlebrook. And then the senior center has someone that goes there, I think, and does blood pressures and stuff like that.
Or she used to. Correct, go to senior center?
Not the senior center.
No?
Riddlebrook,
Just Riddlebrook?
yeah.
Way
Next board
back.
I think I
meeting.
remember
Did
that.
she go to senior center? I know she went to
I
Riddlebrook.
went to the senior center.
I thought she used
By
to.
the time the next board meeting
Back away
comes
from
around.
And I think
Oh, we're
then,
gonna be
since then
back
they've.
to work.
I'll be getting ready for work.
Some of their own.
Yeah.
well, you know what?
You gotta
Okay.
In
work.
all honesty, I'm kind
All right, do we
of
have
anxious,
a next
Okay.
date?
because, not because of my situation.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, did I?
We're out here.
But
That's all.
27th?
27th, sound good, everybody?
I want these 2 years to go by very quickly.
Can't you retire now?
I could.
How does that work for you? August 27th work for everybody?
Seems
Yeah.
like for now.
For now? Okay, let's,
Right now, it's.
tentatively speaking, well, right now we'll have the meeting scheduled for August 27th, then it's Monday, last Monday of the month.
You go back early, Cory?
Honestly, I have not even looked at when
Okay.
I know I
Make a
go back
motion,
2
we
days before
adjourn.
the.
Have a motion and have a second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
We already have a
We
motion.
adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second it.
A motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Missed it.
Motion adjourned,
Yeah.
motion adjourned.
I gotta
Meeting
go back
adjourned.
2 days before, but.